Well, like, I see that, like, I was reading comments about the xQc thing, and they're saying, like, Felix and Sammy. I don't even, like, what the fuck?
Like, I had to make a choice. I was cornered into choosing between family and Sammy. And unfortunately, what happened is that I kind of just chose family.
You literally are saying, like, oh, I mean, Sammy, like, if you want to hop on a call, if you want to do this.
Okay, because I feel like
this isn't. I didn't want you to talk about any of this.
I understand.
At this time, at all.
Okay, Sammy.
None of it.
Even though I know nothing. I don't know. Honestly, I just hope that they can get through it. And I don't blame him for bringing it up online. Like, because he was getting fucking hate by everybody. And he was just like, okay, fuck it. I'm just going to say what really happened because I'm sick of being the bad guy, right? Like, I would have done the exact same thing. So, like, it's not, in my opinion, like, I think he's totally in the right of doing that. He should be able to talk about what he wants to talk about in his own life. It's his prerogative. I don't think that you should be able to tell another person, like, that they can't tell their audience, like, that you broke up with them. Like, I think that's really weird, and it's kind of, like, selfish in a way, because it could be a way that a person could even gain closure from it. But again, I don't really know the situation. I don't know what happened. I'm speaking mainly from my own perspective, not necessarily from something specific. And anyway, I guess the reason why it's a little bit more acute for me is that I remember whenever Izzy and I broke up, there were a lot of people who were trying to insert their own worldview into why we broke up. And it sucked to read. She didn't like it. I didn't like it. And, I mean, listen, that's part of the price that you pay whenever you're public about a relationship, right? That's the price you pay. And it's the way it goes, but it doesn't make it any less pathetic. It doesn't make it suck any less. It doesn't make it any less unpleasant. It's just the way it goes. Like, look at it from his perspective. So, like, for the past, like, week or so, and let's be honest, for, like, a long time, especially since you started gambling and I'm not streaming anymore, you know, LSF and that community, like, they hate me more than they hate him, absolutely, right? But I'm not streaming right now, so they hate him. And, like, every time there's a negative post, it's always about him. Every single fucking time. People are trying to pick apart and, like, oh, is it his family? What did his family say? Is he wrong? Is she wrong? Like, imagine putting yourself out there every single fucking day, and you don't like people making assumptions and trying to tell other people, oh, well, this is what happened, etc. Because, like, you want to clear the air because it's your own personal life, and you don't want literally thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people going around with a false impression of you that's totally wrong and disliking you for it. Like, I understand that, like, you might think that, oh, it wouldn't bother me, but you're not in that position, so, like, I'm not going to take anybody's feelings on that seriously because it's never happened to them. It's kind of like whenever somebody says, oh, if somebody breaks into my house, you know, I'll fucking shoot them. I'll kill them in a second. It won't bother me at all. My dad said in Vietnam there were a lot of people that did that, and then the moment that the bullets started flying, they were crying underneath the bunker. Okay? So you never know what you're gonna do until you get into an actual situation where you have to do it. And so anyway, point is that I think it's not surprising that he wants to clear the air, and if he feels like he's been wronged, of course he's going to try to push back against that. And I think it's his right to do that. It's his life. You know, he has to live that in the best way possible. It's that simple.
Where I'm from, we don't subtweet like cowards. Why did you invite me to your events 2 years in a row if you thought I was a women hater? Why platformed me? How does it make any sense? Despicable behavior from this joke of a person?
Holding your ex-girlfriend hostage for content with an audience that loves to hate women. Responsible and nice.
I mean, I think that, like, everybody knew that she was talking about xQc. Like, I feel like that's not really subtweeting as much. Like, I mean, it is technically, but I don't think anybody thought that she wasn't talking about him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it seemed kind of obvious that it was about him. But sure. I think saying that like his audience is woman haters is kind of it's kind of like an indictment of him. I think that like a person could easily assume that, like I think that an average person would take what was said and interpret it as they are woman haters and this is some sort of fault of his own. You see what I'm saying? Because like it's not like she's saying that there are a bunch of woman haters on Twitch. She's saying that his audience is a bunch of woman haters. You know what I mean? So if I opinion lead flip on someone, what about your answers too many? Yeah. A lot of girls watch xQc. Well, I mean, a lot of people watch. I mean, there are girls that watch me even, right? He probably has a better ratio than I do. It's hard not to. But I'm sure that, like, you know, his audience is primarily men. I mean, I think that's kind of an obvious thing. But that's not a bad thing. That's just the fact that, like, I think that a lot of people are going to watch people that have the same gender as them. So it's just like... It's like you look at it from his perspective and, like, people have... Like, I feel like I was probably the only person... I was kind of the only person who even thought to think about it from like his perspective whenever everybody started shitting on him for not going to shitcon or shit camp or what. I don't remember what it was, whatever it was called. I think like nobody else like defended anything of what he said. Who cares? Well, I mean, he does, right? I mean, it's a bunch of people that are like saying that he's like a piece of shit for like not going to an event. Shit camp. Well, I don't remember what it's called. Like, it doesn't really matter. But like, it's QTCinderella's event, right? Because like I was like, listen, like I've canceled on like so many events, like all the time. I mean, fuck. Like, I'm not going to say, like, yeah, it's obviously bad if you do that. And I think that, I mean, even he'd acknowledge that. But, I think, like, shitting on him like that for it is kind of weird. And it's, like, kind of what happened is, like, I mean, if you look at it from his perspective, right? And this is all I'm really saying is, like, if you look at it from his perspective, he was going to go to an event... And, like, let's be honest, like, he was going to get some things out of this event, but this was not something that was... It was disproportionately beneficial towards QTCinderella. I think that him going to shit camp is more beneficial for her than it is for him. So, like, she was getting more out of it than he was. Now, obviously, this is something where both people gain, and so it's not like she was manipulating him or anything like that. You know, she invited him to an event, and she had a vested interest in the event doing well, so obviously if he went to the event would do a lot better. So it's not like she's bad for doing that, but this is something to keep in mind. And so he didn't really have a lot of reasons to go. Then he decides not to go for a reason that is unknown to the public, whether this is anxiety, family troubles, other things. He just changed his mind, Gamba addiction. You don't really know. But anyway, then all of that shit happens. After all of that shit, you see people that are tweeting about him, talking about how, you know, they can't go to the event or whatever. And I think that, like, I don't think that he's going to take anything personally if, like I've made memes about it, right? I mean, for sure, everybody has. But, give me 1 second. Faded Mythic. Yes. I think everybody memes about stuff, but it was it's a lot different whenever you're memeing about something versus like actually saying bad stuff about people. Turn their backs on them now. Well, it's because they had something to gain. Every time that somebody has, like, it's what I said about like the chickens and bleeding, right? As soon as somebody sees that you're bleeding, everybody shits on you immediately. It's the same thing that happens with Ninja. It's happened with like Greek God X. It's happened with all of these people. And I feel like I was the only person to like try to even take, like even come to the table to like listen to what other people are saying. Even if it is like wrong or I disagree with it, like at least people deserve to be listened to and, you know, to get their side of things out and to be heard. And it seems like so many people nowadays don't really want to do that because they're just too interested in trying to put themselves in that person's position or put themselves higher while putting the other person lower. And yeah, when there's blood in the water, the sharks will come. So it's like, so like everybody, and then Mizkiff said something, like Mizkiff and xQc had some drama, and like this has been like some long time thing between the two of them. So like, I don't know. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's dumb, etc. But like it's not something that just happened right off the bat. It's something that happened like way later on. And or way before then. Leaks? Well, no, it's not a leak. That's literally what they said. And so because it kind of puts me in a weird spot where like, I mean, I'm you know, Miz is like one of my good friends, and you know, we're in an org together. But I mean, I like xQc, and I mean, I don't know what happened between them. I have no idea, right? So it's just kind of sucks. xQc really shouldn't have streamed his arguments with X with 100,000 people. Yeah, but like, how would you feel if you had your relationship being picked apart by 100,000 people or more, all telling you that you're like a man-child, a loser, a bad person, and it's like it's all your fault, and they don't have all the details, so they just invent details, and the details are like uncharitable towards you, so it's like, oh, it's actually because of Gamba or whatever, or some other bullshit. So like, if you have this, and this is, yeah, and this is all for him not going to a streamer event, which is like just, it's just so weird. Like, yeah, it's like maybe he should have told QTCinderella, like for sure. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that here's the thing, is like, I do the same thing that he did all the time. Like, I don't like telling people no, and I don't like disappointing people, so I end up not telling them that I don't want to go to something or I don't want to do something until like the last minute. And like, you get kind of, it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation where you just like feel like shit, you know? And it's like also, like, it's a fault of my own whenever that happens. And it's like I'm not saying like, oh, I feel bad about it, so it's okay for me to inconvenience you. No, I mean, I still made a mistake and I did something wrong. But at the same time, I mean, you know, like, that's just, you know, this is my perspective on it, and that's where I'm coming from. And I just don't want people to think it's malicious, right? It's not malicious, it's just me just having trouble dealing with shit, right? And so whenever I saw that what the fuck, bro, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling right now. So whenever I saw that, I that's the first thing that I thought of, because that's what I do. And then after that, so finally, like, everybody is like memeing on him, like the entire streaming community. And like, this is again not the entire streaming community, this is mainly LSF and people that they intentionally try to agitate streamer drama because they find it entertaining. You know, they just treat streamers like they're toys. And again, like, that's their prerogative to do that, because they're, you know, you can do whatever you want. You like, I can say that's bad. I think it is bad, but nobody's gonna stop doing it because I said it was bad. You know what I mean? So there's just like really no point in saying that. And anyway, So all of this happens, and then, you know, he's getting shit on by a bunch of people, and his girlfriend doesn't want him to say that they broke up, or his ex-girlfriend doesn't want him to say that they broke up. Now, I don't know the details of the breakup or anything like that, but I think that unless they were planning to announce it at like a later date or something like that, I don't think that she has the, I don't know, like moral authority to tell him that he can't tell people that he is or isn't in a relationship. Like, I don't really think that's fair to him, especially whenever, you know, like it's done in the context of being in a personal relationship, and the public facing personal relationship, and people in the public are perceiving it in a different way, because it's like, yeah, he probably didn't want to say anything about it to like not make her look bad, and maybe she didn't want him to say anything about it because like maybe she thought his audience would attack her, and I think unfortunately that will happen. How do I know that'll happen? Well, because it happened to Izzy whenever we broke up. So like, I know for a fact that's going to happen, and it's not really his fault. It's just because people on Twitch are freaks sometimes, and there's also people that are looking for that. They like seeing that because they have some lingering resentment towards women. So the moment that they see a person that can fit into that mold that they can cheer for, then they just automatically do it. So like, that happens, and then you know, he gets pushed to this, and then he says it finally that, you know, that they broke up, and then she's mad at him for that, and she tells her side a little bit more of the story, and then everybody thinks that he's a liar or a bad person. So then what's he supposed to do? Like, I would have confronted it out in the open too, because it's like, if you want to start talking about me on your stream, then you should do it, you know, on both of our stream, right? I think that's fair. No, I don't know exactly like all the details, and like xQc could be a piece of shit, like why they broke up, and I have no idea. I have no clue, and so it doesn't really matter. But all I'm saying is that, like, if you look at it from his perspective, he got backed into a corner. A lot of people that he thought he had at least a decent personal relationship or professional relationship with are memeing on him and turning him into content and making him look bad. And I probably assume that I'm looking at it, you know, like if I were him, I would be thinking like, oh, they're trying to do that, so hopefully, you know, my viewers that don't like me anymore will go watch them. Like, if I was being attacked from like a bunch of people like that, that's the first thing that I would think. And it seems obvious too that he was like really defensive, because the Soda clip that that they watched, or that he watched, he didn't even hear what Soda said, and he just automatically assumed that Soda was like out to like kind of like to throw him under the bus to make him look bad. And so like, that clearly he's not a robot. And I think that he was clearly emotional in the moment, and so he didn't look at it rationally. And because he didn't look at it rationally, he thought Soda, somebody who he looked up to and was good friends with and neighbors with and everything, even off stream, like actual friends with, you know, Soda's throwing him under the bus. And so like, from his perspective, he's getting memed on and thrown under the bus by all of his people that he thought were his friends, you know, you could say colleagues, etc. And you have all this stuff happen, and then finally you bring, you know, your ex-girlfriend on to clear the air, effectively. And it's just and then somebody else, like another girl, goes and says that your audience is full of people that hate women. I like, if somebody told me that my audience was full of people that hate women, well, first thing I'd be like, yeah, of course they do. I mean, that's the right opinion. But, you know, because like, again, if somebody accuses me of something ridiculous, I'll just agree with them, because like, why wouldn't I? They're stupid, and so there's no reason to take it seriously. But everybody knows that's not true. And I think that like, if she had said on Twitch that is notorious for hating women, which is absolutely true, because that's what's happened with it's what's happened with Pokimane many times with different dramas with her. Although many of those things are YouTube related. That's what happened with Leia and Soda back in the day. That's what happened with me and Izzy. That's what happened with Mitch and Mira. So Twitch has had a horrible track record with being civil and acting like normal human beings to the female in a streamer relationship. And there's a lot of different times that this has happened that are completely independent of xQc. So to say that it's his audience that are women haters, I think is disingenuous, even though it is partially true. And somebody could take that, and I think a reasonable person would take that as an indictment of that person's audience as woman haters. And it would make sense that, like, for example, whenever you are a League of Legends streamer, a lot of people who watch League of Legends will probably watch you, right? That kind of makes, or play League of Legends probably watch you. So it's basically the logic of how a audience of a streamer reflects their content and how a streamer's audience reflects them. I think it's very obvious that that's what it means. So whenever you say that his audience is full of people that hate women, the implication there is because that he has caused that to happen. And so of course he's going to be defensive about that, because now he's being called a misogynist in front of a bunch more people, whenever he just wanted to defend and get his side of the story out because people made up fan fiction because he didn't want to go to a streamer event. You see what I'm saying? If QTCinderella actually thought that xQc's audience hated women, and it's not like just something that's intrinsic to Twitch, why is he being invited to events? Well, the obvious reason is because he's a popular streamer. It's the same reason why Ice Poseidon was everybody's favorite streamer until he wasn't popular anymore, and then everybody didn't like Ice Poseidon. But the reality is that everybody interacted with Ice Poseidon back in the day. Everybody loved Ice Poseidon. And I feel like, again, I was one of the only people that was honest enough to say that, like, Ice Poseidon was a fucking legend. Like, yeah, he did bad stuff for sure, but, like, he fucking innovated IRL. And, like, his stream was what was happening on Twitch whenever he was on Twitch. Was, for sure. Yeah, he was. He's not anymore, right? But he was. And, like, it doesn't matter how many crypto scams he runs. Nobody's ever going to be able to take that away from him because it's what happened. Now, I don't like how people just try to downplay that stuff because it's not maybe socially acceptable to like somebody who isn't successful or as agreeable anymore. I find it to be very distasteful and off-putting. Who's an innovator? Ice Poseidon was unironically an innovator. He absolutely was. And even if you won't agree that he was an innovator, you can at least agree that he perfected something to a very high degree. And he did something that a lot of people were interested in and was extremely successful on a level that nobody else was doing at the time. I think it's childish for streamers to bitch about him not coming to shit camp. I think that it was fair for people to be frustrated because they thought he was going to be there and he wasn't there. I mean, sure. Yeah. Was it a good idea to make it public and try to make him look bad? Especially whenever, like, and to be fair, none of them really knew probably the reason why he wasn't going. He probably had no idea. Didn't have to bring it up in stream. Adept did say she wanted to be kept a secret. Wonder why he just kept up and talked about it. Because everybody was shitting on him for 3 days. And who is she to say what he can and can't talk about on his own stream? It's his life that's happening. Like, why should he take orders from her on what he can and can't talk about with his own relationship and his own life? Now, I can understand doing it out of respect for her, and to be fair that he did do that. But it's like a person can only get pushed so far and then they're going to break. It's just what's going to happen. It's like at a certain point, like, you know, he can do that to respect her well-being, but how is it fair for her to not expect him to say something to do the exact same thing for himself? And also, it's the truth, too. It would be one thing if he was lying, but like, he's just telling the truth of what happened. It's not like she asked him to lie. Or it's not like he's lying to make her look bad. Didn't talk shit or anything unlike what she did. I don't know. No, I didn't listen to what he said. I was streaming at the time. It's not as good as they make it out to be, and she said some shady shit that was unwarranted. Well, you can understand why Adept would say a bunch of shady shit about xQc, right? Because, like, obviously, like, he, in her mind, right, he just put her on blast in front of, you know, 50, 60,000 people. So, like, now all of those people are going to go over to Hearst chat and say, like, wow, I can't believe you left our juicer, and like harass her and stuff like that. And so, like, obviously she's gonna get mad about that, and obviously she's gonna say bad stuff because, like, from her perspective, he told her that he wasn't gonna tell anybody, and then he did. Now, whether it was fair or not for her to expect for him not to tell anybody is something different, but that's, you could see why that would bother her. The worst about him that he did to her? Well, yeah, of course she did. Because, I mean, not of course she did, I'm just assuming that. But I would assume that she did because from her perspective, he was the one that initiated the aggression. So, like, she was, like, from her perspective, she was defending herself. So his family's psycho. I mean, that's, I mean, I don't know. It seems like he has, like, some complicated, weird family situation. I don't know. I met his brother once. His brother was a really nice guy. I mean, I had no idea. Can't people just accept they're both wrong and for different reasons? I think that saying that they're both wrong for different reasons is usually, like, I don't think people want to accept that they're both wrong for different reasons because some people think that they're not in the wrong. And it's not proportional either. It's like, I feel like that's something that you say whenever you want to delegitimize somebody feeling like they're aggrieved or that they've been mistreated. It's like, it's the same thing as like remember the Johnny Depp thing? Can't we just acknowledge they were both abusers? Like, yeah, sure. But, like, let's also acknowledge the fact that it was 95% in one direction. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's dismissive. Chat hiring when it's a person A and person B, and a brother and a dad. Well, like, the thing is also, like, xQc's family is not, like, his brother or his dad being an asshole has nothing to do with him. It's not his fault his dad was an asshole, or is an asshole. Couldn't they break up like Miz did? Because Miz didn't go to an event, and also because Miz was able to say it publicly, right, or actually keep it private until he wanted to release it publicly with Maya. That's why. Just handled it very well, to be honest. I think he did too. Guilt by association is so dumb half the time. Guilt by association makes sense if you choose to associate with the people that are doing the bad thing, and sometimes it does, not always. But it's one thing to say, like, you're an asshole because the other people that work with you are assholes that you hired, right? So, like, that's kind of makes sense, guilt by association. But it's another thing to say, you're an asshole because your dad's an asshole or your brother's an asshole, because it's not voluntary association. That's what makes it not fair. You can't control what others do. Well, you can control to the extent that you interact with them. But I think to compare, like, I don't think that somebody should be expected to, it's like, it's a really hard decision, right? I mean, like, do you go with your family? And it's like xQc has had, like, problems with, like, his family. Like, I don't even want to begin to imagine what is going on because I have no idea. Like, do you go with them or do you go with your girlfriend? There's no, it's like, that's the kind of thing that, like, you don't know what the right answer is unless you have, like, a crystal ball. Like, you have no idea. Family always? No, it's not family always. Like, if your family are assholes and you're with somebody that you want to be with the rest of your life, you absolutely should not go with your family. Fuck them. They don't know what's best for you. They don't know you. They're not you. They don't have to live your life. Why do they get to make decisions for you? I think that family is usually the right decision, but it's not always the right decision. It's not like they just started dating last week. It's not like, hey, I met this stripper at the strip club and, you know, dad doesn't like it and so, you know, he wants to change his last name. That's not what's happening. Yeah, and also, like, and where's their responsibility in supporting, you know, his son or his brother? You should dump whichever side made the ultimatum. You would probably be right. Can't replace family? Yeah, you can, because you start one of your own. I think people think that. Well, like, I mean, the reason why people can't imagine why you would choose your girlfriend over your family is because they're lucky enough to probably have family that really care about them. So, like, they could never put themselves in the shoes of a person who actually has been, like, betrayed by their family. So it's like, they're, like, the fact that they can't understand it is probably the fact that they're very lucky. And, like, I've never had that happen. Like, both my parents have been, you know, great. Like, my mom, like, was completely supportive. It's like, hey, I met this girl on Twitch and she's gonna come move in with us. And she's like, okay. And that's about it. And my dad, it's like, you know, he just didn't get, he was completely fine with that. And yeah, it's not an issue. And also, like, I never asked for their approval. I just told them this is what's happening. It was not up to them. And also 30. Yep. xQc is getting up there too. I seem to trust your choice greatly. Didn't start off that way. There were a lot of things that they told me that I couldn't do, and I just did them anyway, and that was it. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to tell me what the fuck to do. I'm going to do whatever I want. Fuck everybody else. There's no more. Oh, another one. What I do and how I feel about it. Everyone runs their mouth, they get support. I clap back a singular time and everyone says I'm using my platform to harass them. So I said too. Yeah, exactly. You should never, like, I've always said, you know, don't punch down, don't punch up, punch back. And if somebody comes at you with like negative energy and they try to, if somebody comes at you with negative energy and they try to come at you and say shit about you, shut them the fuck down. With no remorse. I think also it's like xQc went and he like even debated, I guess you could say, like Andrew Tate about like a lot of the women's stuff, etc. Which was like, I mean, let's be honest, right? It was good content for him, but at the same time, he did go out of his way and, you know, risk his his image to do that. So like, I think that it's kind of unfair to label him as a woman hater. I don't think that he is a woman hater. So always been an advocate for feminism, etc. Well, I don't know about like always being an advocate for feminism or anything like that. I have no idea, but what I'm saying is like there have been like specific circumstances where he's taken the side of a woman based off of the fact it's like a what's the word for it? It's a gender-based discussion. So it's like if he hated women, he wouldn't do that. It's weird to me, guys trash talk women. Well, anyway, like it's like you can see how like, and also like you've got to keep in mind that like people saying, like somebody like QTCinderella saying that xQc hates women, this is gonna make him look bad professionally, right? Like that his chat is like is a safe space for incels. Like this is something that makes him look bad, and it's damaging to his brand and like his image as a content creator. So it's not like this is just like somebody giving their 2 cents on the situation. I don't think that like what image? His image as a person who will not support, you know, harassment of women. Like, what do you mean? Like, think about it like this, right? Like, you're running a company. Do you want to have, you know, do you want to support and sponsor somebody who has a proven track record and there is conversation about this person, like, being, like, negative and, like, shitty towards women? Would you, as, like, as a brand, want to sponsor that? No, absolutely not. It's common sense. Yeah, Steak probably won't care, but I mean there are other brands that will. So it makes, I mean, it makes him look bad in a tangibly damaging way. New tweet, another one? Holy shit. Dozens of people stuff to me about how I use my platform, how I shouldn't do X or Y on stream. Little bro, build your own platform window, stop bothering me. Don't care about what you think. Content first, get mad. My man. How many times have I said the same fucking thing? I think he should just let it be, because him acknowledging it and saying she was talking about him, it got more eyes and publicity on it. So you're saying like he should ignore it because not ignoring it blows it up? I disagree with that. I think that you should always, like not always, like there's never like a, oh you should always do X or Y thing. But I think that, like, I mean, QTCinderella isn't like some irrelevant person. Like, she's a person with a lot of influence, and, you know, she's popular, she's dating Ludwig, Ludwig's very popular. It's not like just, you know, it's like just some random viewer. He should absolutely address it. Like, I would have addressed it. And it's like, it would have been okay if she had made, like, a follow-up tweet or something like that. If she's like, you know, well, listen, I know it's not his fault that they're like that. This is just what it is, right? But without including that context, it sounds like it's his fault that they're like that. That's chat bashing Cootie. Because I'm taking xQc's side more on it, and so they think that because I'm taking his side, it's okay to shit on her. Stop it, guys. It's just annoying. She's not a bad person. Like, she's probably friends with Adept, and she sees Adept getting shit on, and she's defending her friend. You see what I'm saying? Like, should she have done that? No, but it's understandable. There's a lot of things that are wrong but understandable. Got him. This place looks pretty nice. You don't shit on her? She was just sent a wrong tweet. No, somebody in chat was like calling her ugly and stuff like that. That's got nothing to do with her tweets, man. Like, I just want to let you guys know, like, if you do stuff like that, I'm just gonna permaban you. Like, I don't even think about it. It doesn't make me mad or offend me. It's just like, if I see a roach in my room, I get a scissors and I cut it in half. Like, I'm not mad at the roach for being there. That's just what I do with the roach. Yeah, it's just there's a roach there, and that's what you do with roaches. It's nothing personal. You just can't have people doing that. It's still alive. Yeah, sometimes they are, actually. Realize xQc is going, pretends people gave him a hard time for simply not coming to shit camp, put on blast because the announcement was coming last second, and shitting on the event. Well, I mean, I can see, yeah, I can see why people would be mad about that. Sure. But I don't think that people should be mad about him saying that he's not going last minute. I don't think it's like, it's not their business. It's not their place to be mad about that. It's not their event. Like, why do you have an opinion about this? But yeah, sure, I mean, I can see people being mad about him shitting on the event. Sure. I don't know if he really did shit on the event. But I mean, if you think he did, I think that's fair to criticize somebody for, right? That, like, they didn't go to the event and now they're shitting on it. It's like, if you were shitting on the event, why did you say you'd go at all? Yeah, sure. I think that's fair. Didn't clear up the misunderstanding. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want anybody to think that this is like, oh, xQc is right, everybody else is wrong. Like, I think it's probably more complicated than that. But that also means that it's probably more complicated than xQc is wrong and everybody else is right, too. That's all I'm really saying. I think that if people spent more time thinking about what they would do in that person's situation, rather than what they think that person should do in the situation, I think that the world would be a much better place. Look in the mirror before telling other people what to do. Well, I mean, you just shouldn't expect anybody to care about, like, what you think. All I'm saying is, like, every single time that I've had drama with somebody, you guys know that there is literally nothing that I won't do or say to make them look bad. I don't care about their feelings. I don't care about anything. If somebody comes at me and starts saying bad shit about me, I will do everything that I can to make their life worse. That's one of my favorite things to do. I love doing that. We got it, finally. Vengeful? Well, yeah. Absolutely. Take the load, I'll meet you there. That's what I say, yeah. Yeah, I've always been like that, even whenever I was a little kid. What do you think I should do from here? What would I do if I was him? I would just go live tomorrow. Be like, listen guys, it's been a crazy couple weeks, huh? Anyway, we're gonna play some slots and play GTA. How about that? Never talk about it again. That's the best thing for him to do. Who's ready to get it twisted? That's unironically what I think that's what I would do. That's what I would hope that I would do. I would probably fucking get distracted and bring it up a million times too, to be fair. Adept might keep farming it. No, if she keeps farming it, it's just gonna make her look bad. And because xQc only probably cares about the court of public opinion in this circumstance, if it's making her look bad publicly, then there's no reason for him to be angry about it. Because it's not accomplishing the goal that he's trying to prevent her from achieving. That puts her VoDs as sub only. I think that speaks for itself. Are you saying that it's like some sort of like money thing? Like I don't know what that means. I don't think that's an indictment, personally. I don't think that's fair. Your VoD sub only makes the hate watchers pay early. Don't be weird. Yeah, I don't think that that's a problem. I don't think it's a big deal. That doesn't mean anything to me. Skin with Asmon dating smart streamer. Well, whenever I date another girl, or guy, I will handle it the exact same way that I've handled people being negative about Izzy. Instant permaban. That's it. No questions. Oh, fuck. Yep. That's the way I've always dealt with things, is that if people try to press me and push me on stuff, I just instantly ban them and that's it. Never think about it again. I wonder if I could make it all the way over there. I don't know if I don't think I could. Let's go get this one while we're here. Yeah, you shouldn't ignore it. Like, it does really suck whenever... It really sucked whenever people said all the bad stuff about Izzy, too. Because, like, it was straight, like, it was actually just... things that were not true. Like, she was dating me to get popular, and, she was dating me for the money, etc. It was just weird because, like, whenever we had started dating, like, I had less followers than she did. And, you know, I wasn't, like, really super popular. And it sucks, man. Because, like, I mean, it made her feel like shit. I mean, of course it did. She was a little more popular. Yeah, it's just like that. There are just, this is just, it's an objective, like, mathematical fact. Like, you just look at the numbers and that's what it is. Maybe I can go from down there. So you did her for followers, yeah. Well, it's because people that have, like, no social intelligence view everything through the lens of, like, follower count or viewer count, because that's the only way they can understand the social interaction. Like, in their mind, like, that's how every streamer interaction goes. But yeah, it's like, could argue she saw the trajectory. Yeah, but like, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I to me, like, is it weird that I'd want to date like a girl that was like popular too, so I could like make content and do stuff with her? You're lucky, man. I was a very lucky guy. Yeah, absolutely. So since yours getting a pussy doll? Well, it's because here's the reason why they do it. They do it because they don't have a hot girlfriend, and you do. And they are unwilling to accept one of the reasons that they don't have a hot girlfriend is because they're shitty people that nobody wants to be around. Even though that's probably the truth. But because they don't want to admit that, they tell themselves it's because of money or some other thing, because it makes them feel better about themselves. This watermelon's higher on the ledge. Motherfucker, okay. Thank you. It's gated content for the mount. Yeah, I'll probably do that tomorrow. No hot girlfriend equals bad person. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of people who, the reason why they don't have the things they want in their life isn't because life is unfair, it's because they haven't earned them. And I think that people look for all of the reasons besides themselves to find out why it's not, you know, it's not their fault. Motherfucker despawned, god damn it. Fuck. I don't know what to do. Piece of shit, you're gonna despawn, aren't you? Hit it, but don't kill it? Okay. Okay. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of like, that's my 2 cents on the whole situation.